You couldn't cook an egg in the time that Scott and Leanne
I know.
have been over.
I'm like, let it get cold first. It's literally been about 30 minutes since they broke up. Welcome back to another episode of Love Island Morning After, and we are here to give you the lowdown on all the Love Island gossip. I'm Indiyah Polack.
And I'm Amy Hart, and this week we are joined by a true Love Island legend. It's only Georgia Harrison, MBE.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, girls. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are
Good,
you?
really good.
What have you thought of the series so far?
Oh, I thought it's been amazing. I can't tell you how much I've been looking forward to this. I've been watching the episodes. I've been literally like, I have to watch it because I'm at work, so can I just be quiet? No, I thought it's been brilliant.
Now, before we get into the rest of the episode, we are joined online by two of yesterday's dumped islanders. We have the beautiful Kyra and Imani with us, all the way from South Africa. How are you girls?
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Now, girls, a question that we wanted to ask, obviously we have been in Love Island UK, but we wanted to know, like, what is the difference between how, like, British boys and, you know, the American boys date? Because we noticed some strong differences, but we wanted your opinion.
There were a lot of differences going in. Like, even just, it was kind of like different to see how you guys would say the banter versus the chat or the conversation. Like, you guys, the UK guys use a lot of metaphors and houses on fire and ice under the building. And, you know what, girl?
The lingo was very different. And it was kind of hard for us to catch on. But the UK boys, they were so sweet at explaining what the meanings were behind everything. So I think that was, the biggest difference. But what I will say is the similarities were that, you know, the chivalry and the chemistry and just connecting with the men on that level.
Right.
You know, it's going to be the same. Doesn't matter what country you're from. Like, if the chemistry is there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. Yeah.
Now, Jack got to know all three of you. How did you feel about that?
So at least with me, I knew going into it as a bombshell, we were going to get to know everybody. And I knew the same for Imani and with the same with Cher, that we all came in together and we were all going to get to know the same people. So I personally didn't really care or didn't really mind that we were all talking to the same person. We were all getting on with the same person. And it's great on Jack because he has a great personality and he just so happened to have good chats with all of us. And so, yeah, I mean, I knew that where my connection was with him could be the same, if not better, with somebody else. And so I didn't really mind, but that's just...
Did any of the British Islanders tell you that he hadn't had much luck back at the main villa? And that's probably why he was like a kid in a sweet shop with you three beautiful girls.
You know what? My ginger twin. Too bad it never worked out. But
Do you think he's got a good connection with Cher?
I feel like, look, I'm going to speak on my connections with him. It was fun. It was fiery. It was cute. But when we were talking, his head was elsewhere. And I think that was a big reason for me. This mess is not working. Like, his attention was with her. And like Kyra said, like, when you're getting to know people in the villa, you guys know it's awkward sometimes. Like, we're all meshing, but I do feel like his connection with her, he definitely likes her. I will say that for sure.
But do you think she likes him?
I mean, her head was torn. Like, when we had to take the vote, she wanted Scott to stay, and we said, girl, send them home. But she wanted Scott to stay, you know? So we knew she had a connection with him, but it was also like, it seemed 50-50 more so with her and Scott and Jack, you know?
Kyra, we saw you and Tommy obviously getting to know each other and he called it off. Do you think if he hadn't have called it off, you would have called it off yourself quite soon after that?
Yes, I do think so. I will say that one of our last chats together, we realized that we weren't really on the same page, I guess, in terms of where we are in life. And that speaks nothing to his character or anything. It's just, I think he's the most lovely and amazing person. But I could just tell we were on different pages and just experiencing life differently. I am 28 years old. I'm going to be 29 this year. So, you know, for me, age doesn't really matter, but I think life experience kind of does. So I did have a feeling that we weren't really connected on that level. And so I knew that if he didn't call it off, I think it would have fizzled regardless.
Did you girls feel an instant connection to Curtis and Konnor when you came back to the main villa?
Yeah, absolutely. Curtis was definitely my type physically. And I think obviously a lot of people can be your physical type when you get to know somebody in person. That's the only way you're going to know if the chemistry is there. And it definitely was. So
that's, you know what, after the Jack and Tommy kind of fiasco like died down, I was kind of like, okay, we'll see. I'm not forcing anything. What stood out to me about Konnor is like, he's very like chill, but he's very funny. And I'm usually the friend who also like hears the quiet jokes. So like we kind of just like found each other and it went organically and it continued to grow. So it was organic and it was slow, but I feel like he's a sweet guy.
He's lovely.
Yeah, we can see the chemistry.
I'm rocking with the kid, y'all.
Yeah.
Kyra, we did see it on movie night, but, you know, were you aware of how strong, you know, the feelings were between Millie and Curtis?
Yes, I was made aware of it. Millie was very transparent with me in Villa US, and then Curtis was very transparent with me when I did meet him in person. So I was made very clear of everything from the get-go. And so, yeah, I mean, I didn't feel totally blindsided, obviously. I wasn't given exact word for word what was said, but, you know, I was made aware of the connection that was there prior to me entering.
We are having the lovely Curtis and Konnor in the studio with us on Wednesday morning. But obviously you girls are flying back to the US tomorrow, very sadly, so you can't come and join us here. What does the future hold for your relationships?
You know what? I think getting to know each other more. I'm planning a European summer, so the UK is on my list. Yay! And definitely just more dates. I think the best way to get to know someone is actively going on dates, not texting all day. So I would love to explore that more and kind of just see. Yeah.
And yeah, same. Obviously, I love to travel, so that's not a problem for me. And I know he travels a lot as well, but just nothing but hopeful.
You could have like FaceTime dates. You could both get your dinner.
Yeah.
And like sit on FaceTime and eat your dinner together. So it's like you're having dinner every night together.
I actually did that in lockdown. Yeah. It's a great way to bond.
And you have to come to the UK. You can't do UK Love Island and then not come
you
visit
have to
everyone
come
who's
to the
supported
UK.
you. You have to come over.
Yeah.
Those are already in the
Girls, we'll see y'all soon.
Oh,
It's on the
absolutely.
list.
UK is already in the plans.
Oh, I'm excited. I think dating someone from the UK versus the US is very, very different, but I'm very grateful for like the connection overall.
And do you guys have any regrets, or would you say there's anything that you would have done differently in your experience?
I think the only thing I would have changed would be obviously wanting to stay in the villa longer. I think as you girls must have experienced too, like just being in the villa is such a wonderful life experience. And so obviously I didn't want that to end. But I will say I have absolutely zero regrets in terms of how my Love Island journey went.
I'm so grateful for the sisterhood I've built. I'm grateful for like even the words the girl said when we left was so warm and like I feel very complete. I wouldn't have done anything different. You know what? Everything's a learning lesson, you know. So that's just where I'm at with it. And
as I said when we were exiting the villa, that I believe everything happens for a reason. And so I think that mindset has allowed me to really have so much peace walking out of there and walking out of there with Curtis and with you, my girl. So as bittersweet as it was, I think it was one of the best possible outcomes.
definitely.
Well, girls, thank you so much for joining us. We are so sorry you couldn't be in the studio, but it's been absolutely amazing speaking to you. And, you know, good luck in the future with Curtis and Konnor. And, you know, we really hope it really works out. It's been a fab chat.
Thank you so much for having us. We wish we could be there.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see you in the summer.
We're so
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll see you in the summer, babes.
Bye, girls. Bye.
Lights, camera, villa drama. Movie night came back with a bang and the looks were giving red carpet ready. Let's get into the debrief. The US boys did not come to play, with Zach in a Versace shirt, Carrington wearing Comme des Garçons, and Yeaman rocking a Versace shirt with Novu trousers. Kieran mixed it up a little with his stunning St. Michael beige suit, and Konnor brought the vibes with that silky and sultry blue Martine rose shirt. Our leading ladies all looked so beautiful tonight. Lucinda brought the drama in a House of Maguire dress, whilst Imani looked sensational in a Bronx and Branco dress. And Millie shone bright like a diamond in an Albina Dyla embellished dress and Steve Madden heels. Movie night brought cinema-level suspense and scene-stealing pre-love looks. Gasps were had, popcorn was dropped. For show-stopping moments worthy of movie night, find your perfect party look on eBay, sponsors of Love Island All-Stars. Also, eBay are going live with Series 12 winners Tony and Cash this coming Friday at 3 p.m, where you'll have the chance to win some amazing looks straight from the All-Stars villa. Go to the eBay UK Instagram to learn more details. Well, that was so lovely to talk to them, but let's talk about this episode. Let's start with Scott. Now, he was in the bottom 4.
Yeah.
So he's gone from favourite boy to being in the middles with his, like, the girl he's with in the bottom, to now being in the bottom himself. The only way is up for Scott now, surely.
I mean,
but him and Leanne,
it's
it's no more. It's over. Do you think that it's over for good, or do you think it can come back?
Do you know what? Before we got to the end of the episode, I thought maybe there'd be a bit of hope. But I do think it's over for good. I feel like Scott has just left it too long, you know, and I feel like he was really trying to have his cake and eat it in the villa, and now it's come to bite him in the butt. Because Cher's gone as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like we've had, like, throughout these series, we've had the women standing really strong. Like, we had Millie say, like, no to Charlie, like, I'm not being disrespected like this. And I think with Leanne, she keeps coming back to this empathy thing.
Yeah.
And it's like she's been sitting there crying in the garden for, like, 2 days. If you really cared about her, how can you not help yourself but go over and be like, oh, do you know what, babe? Like, if you need anything today, like, just let me know. I think for her, it's just gone that little bit too far, but he definitely still likes her. But she's still going to fancy him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's 2 weeks left. Is there going to be anyone else for her? Is she best off getting back with Scott? What I loved was when him and Cher had their, like, sort of breakup chat, like, we're going to be friends. And she said, go and get your girl. So he went and tried. And she was like,
it didn't work.
No, thank you. I'm actually okay. Would you like to hug it out?
She was just so strong what she was saying. Like, if it was me, I'd be like, do you know what? It's over and we're never speaking again. But you know where my bed is if like, you wake up later. Do you know what I mean? She's just like, no, like, I meant what I said. So
Yeah.
But she was like that in her first series, wasn't she? Because she was with Mike.
She was.
And she was the one who cut it off with him, and she ended up going home because of it.
Oh, I remember
But
that.
you know what? Hopefully Leanne does stay and hopefully a bombshell does come in for her. But I don't think she was wrong for cutting it off with Scott. I think, like she mentioned, it's been 3 weeks now. We should have been ahead of the game. And I think at 3 weeks, in such a short space of time, like, it's Love Island All-Stars, if you don't know how you feel about him by now, nothing's going to change that, you know? And I'm not going to wait for you to decide. You know, if you've got 2 options and you're not picking me and you're in and are in, you've made your decision, you know? So I think she was right to stand on business, to be honest.
Yeah, and it just comes down to, like, can she stay strong in that environment? Because we know what it's like.
Yeah,
There's not
100%.
going to be any other romantic connection in there for her just for now.
Yeah.
So when you've already got something underlying, it's can you be strong enough to not go back to that when you've literally got nothing else to distract yourself apart from poor Tommy, who's also having a terrible time.
Listen. What I found really interesting is everyone sort of has their ranking, don't they, of like what's worse than what. And like, you know, Scott, he entertained Cher. He made her believe that he was able to be picked. He kept saying he was open and stuff. But his thing, the hill that he will die on is, I never took Cher to the secret garden.
Liar.
And you took Yemen to the secret garden. Like, do we think that is a big deal? I mean, we saw the chat, he didn't.
Yeah.
Like, so we know that it was really not a big deal.
Well, no, because then she can turn around and double down on the matcher, can't she?
Yeah.
It's like all of these little things in Love Island that mean something but actually don't. Like, all that really matters is if you're spending time together and if there's that genuine, I can't keep away from each other. And for some reason, he didn't have that for the last 2 days. But because she's now saying, I don't want to be with him, he now obviously does looking like he's fancying her again. Boys just want what they can't have sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. And I just feel like, it's just been so long.
Yeah.
It's been so long. I think Leanne has been literally spelling it out to Scott. Like, even when they were sitting having a conversation, she's like, look, there was a point I just wanted you to give me a cuddle and just tell me something. And for me, when I was watching, I was like, this is your time to just go in and give her a hug. He's just sitting there. He's just not doing anything. So I think Leanne's gotten to the top of it now, and it's just, I think there's no hope, personally.
No. What I want to know is, though, why Scott kept getting to know Cher for so long when it was quite clear they had no vibe whatsoever.
chemistry.
When he's got Leanne, who he's had great chemistry with, they've had like a great 3 weeks together.
Yeah.
Surely, even after Cher picked you, after like a day and a half, because that is like a week and a half in there, you'd be like, actually, Leanne is where I need to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, with the Yemen thing, it was quite obvious that she was only speaking to him because she just felt so uncomfortable with the
Yeah,
situation she'd been in for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And he should know that, really. Like, I think she genuinely really did like him. And for some reason, he, like you said, just wasted his time with a connection that didn't actually seem strong at all.
Yeah,
No.
I think Leanne did think the conversation with Yemen would kind of put a rocket up Scott's spine to be like, no, I actually want you. And it did the complete opposite. You know, he was questioning her about why'd you go to Secret Garden, and he wasn't really getting the point that Leanne just didn't feel seen by him for a long while.
Yeah. But lest we forget that the last vote before this one, Leanne was in the bottom. So maybe Scott was thinking, oh, maybe I need like another option because Leanne's not popular with the public. Lo and behold, now Cher and Scott are in the bottom 4 and Leanne is safe. Do we think that's got anything to do with Scott suddenly being like...
His energy changed slightly after she was in the bottom, and she noticed that immediately. And that was when they first started having cracks. So maybe his opinion changes due to the public vote.
because now he's in the bottom 4 with Cher, and suddenly he's like, I think we should just be friends. I'm going to go back to Leanne.
Yeah.
Who's safe.
I mean, it's hard to think that there's not, you know, a correlation between the two because it has happened. So I guess we're going to have to see. But to be honest, there isn't much to see because they're both over. There's no Cher and there's no Leanne. But there is, which I don't want to say it because I can't believe what I saw last night.
Belle.
Belle?
But we were saying this like 2 weeks ago.
We were. It was, do you know what? You see, I don't want to be that kind of person. But everyone's like, oh no, they're just best friends. They're just really close. Lo and behold, Leanne is not in the picture. And what? They were like holding hands and she was giggling.
It was when she did the face.
It was the face grab for me at the
I've been
fire
saying
pit
for
when I
days,
thought,
like me and my boyfriend have been sitting on the sofa saying like they're actually really close, and it's not
Yeah.
just like in chats, it's more in the little moments that you notice them in the background of things. Like they're always together in the kitchen, they're always having a laugh, they're always having one-on-ones, but I don't think he would make that bold of a move. I think maybe he's had a little flirt and she's just run with it really hard on that evening.
Although, day one, when Scott came in, he said that the 2 girls that he liked were Belle and Leanne, because then Shaq and Sean had to go to the hideaway, didn't they?
Yeah.
For the night. And then also Belle wanted to try and like sort of chat to Scott, but then like Leanne was there and Sean was there, and you know, he was also chatting to Millie and stuff. So it always sort of like, they were sort of like ships passing in the night, like they never sort of were single at the same time. And now they are.
That would flip the villa upside down, and I feel like they would be called the biggest hypocrites ever because Scott has been so opinionated about people swapping between couples, hurting other people's feelings. Belle's obviously been really opinionated for the last week and a half. To end up together, it would literally be throwing all of that in everyone's face, and I wouldn't mind watching it.
No, I wouldn't mind watching it. Play devil's advocate on that point though. I think what Belle's issue has been is that she was respectful-ish at Villa USA, and that Sean couldn't like last 3 days without chatting up Lucinda while he was still in an active connection, shall we say, with Belle. And then Scott has always said about people like doing that while they're in connections. Scott and Leanne are over. Sean and Belle are over. Belle is not in any connection with Jack. So they are free agents.
But you couldn't cook an egg in the time that Scott and Leanne
I know.
have been
Do
over.
you know what I'm
I'm like, let it get cold first. It's literally been about 30 minutes since they broke up. They're getting ready for bed, and Belle was like holding hands and giggling and literally telling half the villa already that she fancies Scott. I think it's a little early. And I think it's exactly the same thing because, you know, Belle has watched Leanne cry tears over Scott. She's been a shoulder to cry on. So I personally think it's a little crazy.
Yeah, it's a little soon. However, again, I'm just giving some balance here.
It's Love Island,
It's Love
not Friend Island.
And what? No, not that. I think it is Friend Island a lot of the time because I think that that's a really important part of it. But what we say every year when we sit here is time is of the essence. You never know when there's going to be a recoupling where someone's going to get dumped. You never know when something massive is going to happen. So when you feel something, you've got to tell people because, you know, as Ronan Keating says, if tomorrow never comes. Do you know what I mean?
Hey,
It was a weird way for friends to touch each other.
Yeah.
it was
a
from
bit
the
of
face
a-
grab and like the hat. I
yeah.
said, wrap it up.
But it just makes you look at everything differently, doesn't it now? Like
Yeah.
when she was like, oh, wouldn't you leave then? Like it makes you look back on that moment and be like, maybe she was hoping he would say no. I don't
And
know.
maybe that's why he was so strong on the note because he knew like, okay, if Leanne doesn't work out, there is somebody here that I might have a connection with, and that was Belle. Maybe we're being a bit too far
I
in.
think that's looking a bit slightly too. I think that was genuinely like she was with Sean at the time and she was really happy
she
with
was.
Sean.
Yeah.
So I think she was just like trying to wind him up basically.
I mean, I guess we'll find out in tonight's episode if things do start to blossom between Belle and Scott. It will be different, but you know, there's 2 weeks left and a lot could happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And we've got heart rate challenge tonight.
Yes.
So we'll see whose heart is raised.
Oh, I definitely think Scott's going to get raised by Belle.
Well, as we've got one new couple on the horizon, one sadly potentially it's going to come to its end, do we think everything is over for Helena and Carrington?
I mean, I wouldn't say completely over. They did have a little bit of a frosty conversation, but I do think movie night did change a lot for Helena. Because I think Helena, like she mentioned, she's big on physical touch. We know Helena is a big flirt. I mean, look, her previous name was Hideaway Helena. She's not shy. So I think for Helena to see Carrington flirt so heavily and realize he doesn't do the same with her really did flip a switch, and it's making her think, hey, why are you not like this with me? I mean, anyone would think the same.
She said, didn't she? I just thought it was really boring.
Yeah, she seems over it.
It went from 0 to 100, didn't it? Like 1 minute they were kissing in the last couple of episodes we've seen, and this morning she was like basically shadowboxing in the girls' dressing room, talking about him, like really like, not even just like the ick, it was like a dislike almost.
Yeah.
And we know what it's like in there. Maybe she does feel like it is just for convenience that he's with her, and it's awful to feel like that, and she's calling it out.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe she'd been, like she said, I just thought it was really boring. So I feel like she was like, you know what, there's nobody else in here for me. I'm in Love Island. There's 2 weeks left. Let's throw myself into this. Like, he's a lovely guy. He might be a bit boring, but, you know, he's got other qualities. And then as soon as she saw that movie night, she's like, nah, I'm done. And then like literally all that like bottled up like ick came out, and she was like,
Yeah, she was very like full on with the way she addressed him, wasn't she? It was just like, I think you're fake, and I'm going to call it out.
Yeah, I think she was fine too. And you know what? Good on Helena, because I think this season especially, she's really stood up for herself. I feel like Helena has really grown in this season. She knows what she wants. She's starting to know who she is, and she's standing by it, you know. It's not working. She's saying, you know, you don't bring out my fun side. She feels a bit flat with him, so why should she force something?
Even when Carrington was with Belle, he was like, you know, I'm obsessed with you. Like, I just want to be with you. Now, as we've said before, as far as the Love Island USA Islanders knew, like they may have had to be picked in a recoupling to go back to the main villa.
Exactly.
So do you think he was just trying to go full throttle to make sure that he had someone to take him back? Or is he just quite intense?
I think he's intense.
I don't know. I kind of feel like that whole situation was the whole, like, he's in Villa USA and he needs to get back, so he's doing, like, 100% flirt.
I love how I said get back, like it's like you've got to cross the water, like he needs a raft.
He needs
the man
to get
needs a
back,
raft.
you know? I think he was interested in Belle. I mean, we did see he was even trying to edge on for, like, a kiss in there. So I think he was just trying to be full on. I mean, look, it's Love Island. You've got to do your thing.
Also, if you get knocked back, you might change your tactic. Like, you know what it's like, girls, when something happens and you get like a bit of rejection, or like you put your heart out somewhere. When you then end up talking to someone else, you might think, actually, maybe let's be a little bit laid back. Let's play it a little bit more cool.
Yeah.
And actually, I just got shouted at the mini fire pit instead.
Yeah. But you know what? I will say, like, even if he was, you know, laying it on thick in Villa USA, he is capable of flirting. And I think that's Helena's problem, because, like, I can see you do it. So why won't you do it with me?
Yeah.
And she feels like he does do it with her, but only when people are watching.
When people are watching, she's like, you don't pull me for chats. Like, we don't really talk. We don't have deep conversations. So is it just a bit of a showman?
And they got in bed, and he could have, like, I don't know, if I fancy someone, I just want them to grab me and snog me. I don't want them to sit and talk about how everyone else might think we're funny.
Yeah. I loved that. It was a bit like
wasn't what I was
tactical,
laying.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't what I was
We're the
laying down
funniest
to bed
couple,
for.
then Whitney and Yemen. Like, do you think he thinks that that's why they were saved? Because all we've seen all week in the episodes is those two cracking jokes to each other, when in fact we haven't.
We haven't seen it. Maybe on a Saturday, but yeah, as we've seen, someone new's coming in tonight.
Yeah, but I think I know that torso, and I think she's been there before.
Oh my
I don't think she'll want to go back there.
No. I just wanted to find someone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Georgia, how was your first episode?
Girls, I absolutely loved it. I think it's going to be the best week.
You're getting 4 Islanders. Lucky you.
I know.
It's going to be amazing. And don't forget, later on this week, we have Konnor and Curtis join us in the studio. It's going to be a good chat. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.